Today on CityLine, Girl Power at the Girl Scouts. How a legendary organization is keeping up with tough times by blending innovation with tradition. I'm Karen Holmes Ward. Welcome to CityLine. Almost 100 years ago, Juliet Gordon Lowe founded the Girl Scouts in Savannah, Georgia. To fund her mission to teach girls to be leaders, Juliet sold her grandmother's necklace of rare matching pearls. Well, in the early years, Girl Scouts was about camping and cookies and, of course, earning those badges. Well, today it's that and a lot more. The Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts has programs for 45,000 girls across 178 communities in Massachusetts and southern New Hampshire. One program offered by the Girl Scouts is in very high demand, with a waiting list of more than 100 people. The Girl Scouts Beyond Bars program works at rebuilding and nurturing healthy relationships between incarcerated moms and their daughters. Bianca de la Garza has more on how these visits are changing the lives of local families.
But that's Brittany, Jasmine, and Tiffany.
It's Tina Ward's evening ritual.
Every night before I go to bed, I look at them and I thank God that I have awesome children. And they're supportive as they are.
But there are never hugs, never kisses. Prison walls make that impossible for Tina.
Just got to be so hard being apart.
Yeah, it does. It hurts.
Not having to get physical.
Yeah. Especially when they get sick at nighttime. Cuddling with them and getting up and tending to them, making sure they have the medicine they need. Many nights I stayed up, wondering, well, what are they doing, or how are they feeling, what are they going through, and if they would ever forgive me for the mistakes that I made.
Mistakes have landed the Beverly mother in prison twice since 2001, this time serving 3 years for breaking and entering, a crime she committed to feed her addiction to cocaine and pills. Her 3 daughters have seen it all. Jasmine, the middle child.
I'm not going to say I don't want to be like my mom, because in some ways I do, but in some ways I don't want to be like my mom. I don't want to make bad choices. I want to make the right choices. I want to have a good future.
The 8th grader admits feeling pressure to keep the family together while mom is incarcerated.
I'm her backbone. That's what my mom calls me. It's awesome because I don't have to blow her kisses or anything. I can actually kiss her. It's a time that we could all 4 of us to be back together without being separated or having to go one place to pick up somebody and then come back.
What we do in Girl Scouts is we ask the girls, what are they grateful for? On one of them it says, I'm grateful for my mom. It reminds me that I'm worth loving.
Waiting for the visit, it's you get excited, and then once it comes, then there's not as much time as you want, so it gets harder. And then when it's time to leave, it's heartbroken.
And these visits are unique because they're planned, structured. The Girl Scouts talk about things like self-worth and respect with both the moms and the daughters.
Mainly through the Girl Scouts, it's taught us for open communication. So instead of hiding what they're feeling or masking, they're able to say, okay, you know what, Mom, I'm angry.
We think that this is one of our most impactful programs.
CEO Ruth Bramson says the Girl Scouts Beyond Bars program currently has a waiting list of more than 100.
It's interesting to note that 75% of all women prisoners are mothers, and that of those, almost 25% have children under the age of 8. By reconnecting with their daughters and rebuilding those relationships, they are able to think about leaving prison and starting their lives again. From the daughter's point of view, she's thinking about reuniting with her mother and having a normal family life.
From the prison's perspective, it's also a huge success. Superintendent Kelly Ryan sees inmates' behavior improve.
They don't want to get in trouble and for one reason or another not be able to have this visit with their daughters.
As you can see, it's very close quarters. We have a bureau that we share.
This cramped cell, Tina's home until next summer. Lots will happen without her.
Birthdays are gone, holidays are gone, and now we got to wait for them to come back.
She says her daughters have forgiven her, but she has not forgiven herself.
It hurts when I think about what they've been through, because I could have done better, but I must have done something right because they are awesome kids.
Girl Scouts today, but tomorrow, the future is open.
It's far from just selling cookies. Yeah, that's a great piece, but it's all about teaching our daughters to be leaders, and I think that's important because it gives them the hope that they're going to have a future, regardless of the situation.
If we can break that cycle by getting these girls to understand that they have a choice in their lives, that they can bring the hope and change to their mothers and not simply follow the same path as their mothers, I think that it is the most worthwhile thing that we can do to change their futures.
Thanks, Bianca. Girl Scouts Beyond Bars was instituted by Girl Scouts of the USA in 1992 in partnership with the National Institute of Justice. The program also teaches girls and their moms leadership skills and conflict resolution. Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts works with 35 girls and 20 mothers at the Southern Middlesex Correctional Center and MCI Framingham. Their goal for 2010 is to work with more than 100 girls. Up next, women in executive leadership making scouting relevant to today's girls. Welcome back. The Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts are holding their 18th annual Leading Women Award celebration on October 29th. Here to talk more about scouting today are Ruth Bramson, CEO of the Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts, and Jackie Glynn, a former Girl Scout and now Chief Diversity Officer at EMC Corporation and an honoree at the upcoming October 29th breakfast. Welcome to CityLine.
Thank you, Karen.
Now, let's start by letting the audience know that you, Ruth, were a brownie.
Indeed.
And Jackie, you were a brownie?
Yes, indeed.
And a junior scout.
Well, a brownie in Jamaica. That's what they call it.
A brownie?
Yeah.
Why were both of you attracted to Girl Scouts as young ladies?
For me, Karen, it was growing up in New York and an opportunity to be with other girls and out of the boy scene, an opportunity to try on things that I might not have tried on otherwise. It was a safe environment. It was an environment where we had very supportive adults, and they had some really fun activities.
Jackie, what about you? What was it like being a brownie in Jamaica?
Well, I think one of the reasons why I got into it was my mom wanted me to go somewhere where I would sort of get some ladylike skills and learn how to be organized and well-spoken and well-trained and all the ladylike stuff. So my mother enrolled me in the brownie, and the rest, as we might say, was history.
It is history. I was both a brownie and junior scout as well, and I remember competing for the badges with other girls in the brownie troop and camping in the summer.
Right.
But Girl Scouts, some of that is the same today, some of that has changed. Ruth, tell us about Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts today.
Today, Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts still loves camps and s'mores and Girl Scout cookies, of course, and we always will. But we are now one large council for all of Eastern Mass, covering 178 towns and cities with 45,000 girls in our council. And our goal is to have every girl in Massachusetts who wants to be a Girl Scout have an opportunity to be a Girl Scout. And that means girls of every race, religion, as well as girls with physical, mental disabilities. And so we are taking our programs to them in an effort to engage them in scouting.
And so the traditional troop concept that we might have thought of when you and I were participating has evolved into something else today?
Yes, it is evolved into something we call pathways. So the pathways include a troop formation, but it also will include the ability for a girl to work within a specific program that interests her and work on her own, if she prefers, in a particular community project. So there are lots of ways for her to be a Girl Scout without necessarily being in a troop, but still learn the values. We have a fabulous travel pathway where the girls go to various destinations around the world and actually meet other people who are different from themselves and learn about other cultures.
Jackie, you're a corporate officer at EMC Corporation. Can you draw any connection between some of the leadership skills you began to acquire as a Brownie and where you are today?
Absolutely. As I wrote my speech, or I started writing my speech for the breakfast, I have a piece of it where I speak to the leadership, the team building, the confidence piece that I am absolutely sure that I wouldn't have had all of that if it wasn't for the Brownie/Girl Scout. So yes, I can draw on my strategic thinking. I mean, I know we sell just cookies, but selling cookie can be strategic.
Well,
you know, who's going to go on what street?
Right.
You know, who's going to take the left? Who's going to go? You don't want to be knocking on the same door twice. I think my leadership skills, my team building skills, but most of all, my relationship building skill. You know, when you work in a corporation like EMC or any other corporation, there is so many personalities, and I believe that one of the key components, or as we call it at EMC, competency, is relationship building, and I think the Girl Scout/Brownie has afforded me that.
Well, you know, you talk about selling cookies. I mean, you have to be an expert in sales and marketing.
Absolutely.
There's accounting involved.
Count the money.
That's right. That's right. So you do pick up quite a few business skills through
and
selling
organization.
cookies.
You know,
organization
you get
skills.
to unpack the cookie, whether or not you're going to sell the oatmeal or the mint. Right, Ruth?
That's
Absolutely.
right. Yeah. My niece is a Girl Scout. She's 10 years old and lives in Cleveland, Ohio. And listening to her phone me with her sales pitch.
Okay.
You know, it's
irresistible.
Irresistible, irresistible. So, Jackie, for those listening in the audience who may have grown up in scouting or who want to get involved in scouting, why would you recommend that women like you volunteer to work with the organization?
Well, Karen, there are many reasons, but I know you don't want to hear my list, but I will tell you that my biggest reason that I would recommend them is to give back. What it has done for me as a professional and what I can draw on from that, I feel like it's really incumbent on me to give back. But also, we were talking about this earlier on, that, you know, you want these young ladies to see what they can aspire to through you. And so I always feel led to give back so that one of these little young girls can look at me and say, you know, a couple years from now, I can be a Jackie Glynn.
I can be that too. And
yes.
Ruth, you're the new CEO. Very quickly, what are some of the challenges that you're addressing and overcoming in terms of creating a new Girl Scouts for today?
We have spent the last 18 months rebranding the Girl Scouts as a leadership development program, and that's been our top priority, along with our diversity initiative. As I mentioned, we really want every girl to have a chance to be a Girl Scout, and we've been doing some wonderful programming in the inner city communities that prior to this have been underserved. One in particular is called the Fab Factor. And Fab, obviously, is fabulous. And we have a fitness and beauty component. We have a finance and business component. We have a fixtures, fractures, bytes, and bits component, which is science, technology, engineering, and math. And the girls can therefore find their way through this program. It's going on, it's a full-year program. They can take the various pieces and find what interests them. And I think our goal is to make Girl Scouting relevant for all girls.
It sounds very exciting. And congratulations to you, Ruth, and your new leadership, and to Jackie for your honor at the Girl Scouts Breakfast coming up. Now, for more information about the 18th Annual Leading Women Awards Breakfast, which will be hosted by our own Bianca de la Garza, go to www.girlscoutseasternmass.org. Now, coming up, some local girls fulfill a dream by blending fashion and fun. More with the Girl Scouts right after this. Project Rerunway is one of the Girl Scouts' most popular programs. The Girl Scouts and the Orchard Gardens Community Center in Roxbury are the creative minds behind this event. Through Rerunway, a love of fashion is connected to important lessons on recycling and reusing goods. After some very hard work, participants had a chance to strut their stuff at the South Shore Plaza's Going Green Expo, where they hit the catwalk with confidence to show off their original fashion designs. Danielle Jahem is the counselor who worked with the girls from Orchard Gardens Youth and Family Center. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you for having me, Karen.
Tell us about Project Rerunway.
Project Rerunway is basically giving the girls an opportunity to make something that wouldn't usually be used in fashion and turning it into something fabulous, bringing out their inner fabulousness.
Their inner fabulousness,
yes.
I like that. So Project Rerunway is kind of like Project Runway that we see on television, right?
Yes. It's putting a spin, adding the recycling factor into the basic show. The girls are designers, just like on the show. They gather their own materials, do everything by themselves with assistance, of course, from us and others at the community center.
So where do the girls gather the materials from?
Most of it was donated. We did go to Goodwill, pick up some items, and as well as the recycling center in Roxbury.
Were there any criteria that they had to work within?
No, not really. Basically, just make sure it looked recycled. Use materials that you wouldn't normally use. Like, we didn't want them to just use cotton or regular materials. Think outside the box. That was the only criteria.
What do you think the girls got out of the project?
They got out of the project an understanding of material and how they can turn anything into something amazing. Yes.
Do you think it helped build their confidence and self-esteem?
Definitely. When you see these girls walk, you'll see the confidence in them.
And you get a badge out of this?
Yes, they will definitely be getting badges.
Okay, well, I think you brought some ladies for us today.
I sure have.
And let's see what the women from Project Rerunway came up with.
All right. First up, we have Tony. Tony is wearing a Tony is wearing a bed sheet, which we turned into an evening gown with ribbon trim. And up next we have Satasia. Satasia's wearing a black skirt with her ribbon as well. We pulled it and tied it together very nicely, I believe.
I like that.
Yes, that is nice. Next we have Misha Lise, who is wearing a fully functional poncho and skirt with reflectors so she can be seen in the bad weather. Next up we have Takia, whose outfit...
I like that purple.
Isn't it gorgeous? That is a satin pillowcase, which we've turned into a top, and we used some of it for the trim of the skirt, which was actually made from black pants.
That's very clever.
Very nice. Coming up next, we have Yolinda, who took a sundress and wanted to make it look more fall fashioning. And we cut a sweater up and took the sleeves and made it into a vest.
She has on one of my favorite colors, turquoise.
Yeah, which is not traditionally a fall color, but we put the black on there. Turquoise so we can bring that out. Yeah.
How many women in OP participate in this?
3 women.
3 women.
Yes.
Great.
Miss Yolanda Balto and Louise Sowers. Up here we have Angelica, who has a Native American-inspired ensemble made from paper and soda bottles. She cut little triangles, there's a little design in the back.
Soda bottles?
Yeah. Up now we have Tiffany, who's wearing a bed skirt, which we cut into a pin skirt and a top, and she made the belt from soda top cans.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Next up we have Rachel, who is wearing a felt skirt, which we hand sewed together, and a curtain, which we cut into a vest. And coming up now is Anastasia, who is our little ballerina, fully ready to go perform for the Boston Ballet with her tissue paper tutu.
Look at that. Look at that.
Isn't that amazing?
Thank you, ladies. That's absolutely wonderful. Absolutely great. That's
Thank
great.
you. They put their all into it.
I bet they did.
Yes, they did.
I bet they did. That's a wonderful, wonderful project. You know, we have want to find out what other kinds of activities the girls in your troupe are involved in.
Other than Project Rerunway, we're doing the Fab Factor program. They've chosen to do Fit and Beautiful, which will be working on yoga, different exercises of relaxation and meditation, putting together body kits, you know, to keep themselves fully fresh every day, keep themselves fabulous.
Well, now, why is Fit and Beautiful important for the young ladies in this troop?
In this time, you know, in this era we're in, it's very important to be, you know, keep yourself clean, because kids are harsh these days. You really want to make sure you're on point every time you step out of your house. So the Fit and Beautiful program is perfect for children, because, you know, some parents don't know how to, you know, relay that message onto their kids, and some kids just don't listen to their parents. So when you have someone like us, the Girl Scouts, coming in and saying, you have to definitely make sure that every time you step out of your house, you look ready to be on camera or in front of someone like yourself, Karen Holmes.
How long have you been involved with Girl Scouts?
I'm going on a year. It'll be a year in December.
What do you get out of it?
I love working with kids. I came into the program because I've worked with high school girls. I'm a high school basketball coach, Snowden Cougars. And
which high school?
This Muriel Sutherland Snowden International High.
All right,
on Copley.
let's give them a shout out.
Yes, go Cougars. And working with high school age girls, they're pretty much who they're going to be, you know. And I wanted to reach girls on a younger level, you know, to let them know that just because you might be living in a certain situation, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're going to grow up to be.
And so many people, I think, may have an image of Girl Scouts as a suburban project, a suburban activity, and it's not that at all today.
Not at all, not at all, especially with the diversity initiative. I go into countless sites and they're like, oh, you guys are doing Girl Scouts here? I'm like, yeah, we're not just doing traditional troops. It's not just girls earning badges, which they will anyways, but it's more about them learning not just life skills, but how to be respectable young women, have the confidence, the character, and the courage to, you know, become amazing adults.
Would you recommend that other young women like yourself get involved with the
Definitely. As many, please come out and volunteer, as many as possible. There are more girls than I can handle and my associates can handle. We definitely want as many volunteers as we can.
And you said there are 3 women, 2 other women that work with you in the Orchard Park troop?
Yes. Miss Louise Sowers, who is the program director there, she was a seamstress. Miss Louise was awesome. She came up with the designs with the girls, helped them sew it, as well as myself, to figure out how it would look fully functional and how they could move with them on. And Miss Yolanda, she was an instrumental part of it. You know, she was sort of our, that doesn't look nice, or you should do it this way. She was a, you know, kind of an expert on the way the girls should be.
Keeping the girls on point.
Exactly.
Well, I can tell from speaking to them this morning, they're very poised and self-confident. And you all have done a wonderful job with them.
We tried.
Yes. Congratulations to you.
Thank you
We'll
very
be
much.
looking forward to seeing more from Project Rerunway. Okay, now everybody remember, for more information on the Girl Scouts of Eastern Massachusetts, or to find a troop in your area, or to volunteer to be a troop leader, visit the website girlscoutsofeasternmass.org. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. Check us out on the BostonChannel.com and on the CityLine Facebook page. Bye-bye.